Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. And again, I'm back. I'm so happy because I was offline for 2 nights, last Friday and Saturday, and I'm back. I hope you miss me. Anyway, we will be waiting for you guys to finally find out that I'm online, and then we will be starting this conversation. Our topic for tonight is all about Motivational Monday, and I think there's reflection on my eyeglasses because of the light. Let me just fix that. Anyway, hi everyone. There are already people in the audience, so let me greet you. Good evening, everyone. I hope you are having a happy Monday. I know that not everyone's a fan of Monday, but I hope you are having a fabulous, fantastic, awesome, happy Monday. And yes, and I'd also like to greet all the people who are watching via replay. Thank you so much for still continuously supporting the channel, even if you are not watching it live. So thank you for that. We will be waiting for you guys to pick up the notification, and then we'll start. Yes, I already found out that I'm live. I've seen it on my, because last time I was already online, but I figured out that I was actually offline when I visited the channel, and the podcast did not post. So that was weird. So I'm trying to check out if I'm already live. Now I know that I'm already live because hello Sir Joseph, you're already there. Yay ka na naman dyan. Nakakaloka. Ilang days na baka matapos yung lockdown ng pangalan mo. Nakakaloka talaga. Hindi ko alam kung paano ko i-adjust yung na hindi ko makikita yung ilaw. Ayan, feeling ko pwede na to. Ayan, para hindi nagre-reflect yung ilaw. Anyway, once again, welcome back to my channel, and I hope you guys are having an awesome Monday. It's the start of another week, and I hope you had a wonderful weekend. And let's start our Mondays by talking about something that will probably help us during the rest of the week. And the topic for tonight is all about controlling your tongue. So, sa mga hindi kayang magpigil ng kanilang mga gustong sabihin, this topic is for you. And again, you can definitely join the conversation. Feel free to join the conversation. You can also post your comments, your experiences. You can also agree, you can also disagree, whatever you wanna say, for as long as it's not crossing boundaries, that's okay. And for as long as it's always respectful, we are definitely here for it. I mean, you can post them, we can talk about them, and if you have questions, we can also talk about them. All right, so let me introduce myself to those who don't know me yet. And if it's your first time watching this podcast episode, hi, I'm Irene. I'm a real estate broker in the Philippines. I'm also a motivational speaker and a writer. And I'm doing this live podcast every 8 p.m. from Mondays to Saturdays with different themes every night. And tonight we are going to have Motivational Monday, and our topic is controlling our tongues. Okay. So, sino po dyan ang mga naka-experience na ng arguments kasi hindi ninyo na-control yung gusto ninyo sabihin? Tanggalin ko na lang to, nadidistract ako. Although, hindi ko basta-basta mababasa yung comments nyo. Kailangan ko lumapit. Okay, sino po dyan sa audience ang naka-experience na ng arguments because you did not hold your tongue? Sige nga, meron ba? Sino gustong umamin? Okay, ako muna syempre pinakauna nga amin. Now, I always say that our podcast episodes have no filters. We are always saying the truth, no? Gusto nating magpaka-real talk dito. So, ang unang sasagot ng tanong na nagkaroon na ba kayo ng argument dahil hindi mo napigilan yung gusto mong sabihin? Well, syempre ako yung pinakauna magsasabi ng yes, ilang beses na. Sa 36 years of existence ko, ilang beses na ako nagkaroon ng arguments kasi hindi ko na-hold yung words ko coming out from my mouth. So, that's why we are going to talk about this tonight because I believe this is very relevant to everyone, and I believe this is also something that you've experienced in the past, or maybe you are still about to experience. At least alam na ninyo kung ano yung dapat ninyong gawin. But before that, let me say hi. Hello, Ma'am. Hello, Ma'am May. Thank you so much for tuning in. Maray na banggi po. Hello, Ma'am Valenciana. Thank you so much, Ma'am Noreen. You're there. Good to see you too. Thank you. How to control the taste buds? Yung taste buds ba ang kailangan pigilan? Galit na galit? Okay. Yan, yung taste buds, hindi ko alam kung paano pipigilan. Yung kumain ka ng sili, pero lalong masarap magkumain pagka may sili. Diba? Anyway. Okay. Of course, that's coming from a Bicolana, no? I'm not sure kung masarap sa inyo yung spicy food. Pero sa amin kasi, Bicolanos and Bicolanas out there, maray na banggi po sa Indogabos, di ba? Pag mas maanghang, mas masarap. Okay, but anyway, our topic for tonight is controlling your tongue, and we will start by saying that when do we really control our tongue? Okay, bakit pala muna? Bakit natin kailangan i-control yung tongue natin? Okay, simpleng-simple lang naman. Okay, simpleng-simple lang naman bakit kailangan nating i-control yung tongue natin. Because when we are talking to people, it's important that we do not cross boundaries. It's important that we do not create conflicts. Okay, I mean conflicts are inevitable, but we shouldn't be the ones to create them. Diba, hindi tayo dapat yung nagsisimula ng conflicts. Kasi nga, as much as possible, gusto natin maging maayos. Hindi yung magsasalita ka kasi gusto mo ng away. Wala naman sigurong ganun, diba? Very rare naman na may taong gusto magsalita para makipag-away. So, yun yung important, no? Control your tongue so that instead of building conflict, you are mitigating it. Okay? Minimitigate mo, ina-avoid mo, or nag-aano ka or nagpo-propagate ka ng relationship. Use your words to create stronger and healthier relationships instead of using your words to destroy them. Okay? So, batiin ulit natin yung mga kailangan kong lumapit. Medyo malayo sa akin yung camera. Okay. Top fan. Andyan ka, Sir Noel. Hello. Magandang gabi sa'yo dyan. Thank you. I cannot see your comments. Sobrang naghahang yung mga ano ko. Naghahang yung phone ko. OMG. Sorry. Kapag galit ka at nakapagsalita ka ng di maganda, napakabigat sa puso at kalooban. That's true. Yung galit ka, tas nauutal yung tongue mo. I don't understand what that means. Nauutal means nag-stop magsalita. Tama ba? Sorry, Tagalog ko na naman. I agree, but sometimes depende sa taong kaharap din. Yes, sabi ko na nga eh. Hello, Sir Cesar. Thank you so much po for tuning in. Nakita ko po kayo. You're watching. Thank you. Okay, so, simulan natin na ang nabubulol. Yung pala yun, nauutal means nabubulol. Thank you, Sir Noel. Love mo talaga ako. Taga-translate. Thank you. Okay. When do we control our tongue? First is when no one is asking for your unsolicited advice. Okay. When I was younger, younger than today, when I was younger, I always say my unsolicited advice. I swear, ang daming, lahat yung mga kaibigan ko nanonood dyan. Ayan. Alam nila to eh. I always say my unsolicited advice when I was younger. But when I was already older, if you don't ask for my opinion, I will never tell you. Unless yung opinion kong yon makakatulong. Okay? Pero advice pala, hindi opinion. Yung advice kong yon, kung sa tingin ko makakatulong, as in, kung talagang sobrang makakatulong yung advice ko, then I will say it. But if unsolicited and unwanted, I don't say it anymore. Unwanted, hindi talaga gusto ng advice. Tapos ikaw lang tong ano ba tawag doon? Yung talagang excited ka lang magbigay ng advice. So yun, should hold our tongue. Next is when the conversation is not directed to you. Ito pa. Okay, this is very common. There are some instances when you are in the middle of something. When you are in the middle of something and there are people talking and you feel that the conversation is directed towards you, kahit hindi naman, you should control your tongue. And I've also encountered several people who say their piece even if hindi naman sila part ng conversation. So I'm not saying this to criticize, but I'm saying this for your benefit. Kasi minsan yung conversation hindi naman tayo part ng conversation pero feel nating sumausaw yata yun, no? I think that's the for a lack of a better word. Minsan feel nating sumausaw sa conversation kahit hindi naman para sa atin. So let's control our tongue. Okay. And another time when we have to control our tongue is when we are in the middle of a dispute and we only know one side. Remember that there are several sides of a story. It's not just a one side. There's no such thing as only one side of the story. So if you're in the middle of a dispute, so may dalawang taong nag-aaway, tapos isang side lang yung alam mo, dapat huwag kang magsasalita. Kasi isang side lang yung alam mo. Huwag kang basta-bastang magbibitaw ng salita kung isang side lang yung nalalaman mo. Kasi that would be unfair for the other person who's also in that dispute. Kasi hindi mo naman alam yung side niya, pero nakikisaw-saw ka sa usapan. So, let's hold our tongue or control our tongue during that time. Next is during an argument. Okay, so when you are in an argument, tapos ikaw mismo yung nasa argument, this is me when I'm angry talaga. Pag galit talaga ako, pagka may nafe-feel akong emotion, I never really talk. I mean, I would rather walk out of the conversation than to continue the conversation and end up in a bigger argument. Yes, I talk for a living. That's true. I always talk. That's so true. Pero in my personal life, when I believe that my words will not contribute to the advantage of that conversation, I really control my tongue. I would rather stop talking and instead of pursuing the conversation, tapos hindi naman makakatulong dun sa conversation na yon. Kasi minsan, 'di ba, pag galit ka during an argument and when your emotions are at a high, remember that there's a very thin line that we're crossing whenever we are emotional. Very thin line lang yung tinatawid natin. So, ibig sabihin, if you're happy, if you're sad, if you're angry, if you're hungry, 'di ba? Pag gutom ka, mainit yung ulo mo, you shouldn't really engage yourself in a conversation because at that time you are crossing the line, you are crossing a boundary. And if you are doing that, hindi normal yung sasabihin mo. Pwede hindi naman siguro offensive, pero hindi magiging normal yung sasabihin mo. Di ba pagka may masayang-masaya, alokin ninyo ng kahit na gagawin niyo yun. Kasi masayang-masaya siya. Or kahit na maganda yung inaalok mo, pero galit yung kausap mo, hindi rin naman niya ma-appreciate yon kasi nga, galit siya. So, better to control your tongue. During an argument, control your tongue. Either you walk away, you tell the other person that let's talk about this again when we are no longer emotional. I know that's easier said than done, but let me tell you this. I've started doing that when I was already in my late 20s. Siguro more than 10 years ko na siyang ginagawa. Pag hindi ko alam kung anong sasabihin ko, I stop talking. And I think it pretty much helped me and my relationships. Okay, whether at work or my personal relationships, nakakatulong siya. Kapag hindi mo alam yung sasabihin mo, huwag ka muna magsasalita. Ano to? Ganda ng topic. Thank you, Sir Joseph. Sir Noel, ang hirap kasi you hold pero they always taking advantage na tumahimik ka tapos yung kausap mo naman forced to challenge you. That's a very good point. But yeah, that's true. I agree to a certain level. And also my take on that is, di ba yung lagi nating sinasabi that you have to be the bigger person, and if you're intellectual, pipili ka talaga ano ba tawag doon? Pipili ka ng way or ng time na pwede kayong mag-usap kapag medyo kalmado na kayo compared sa, in the heat of an argument or in the heat of a conversation. Next is when you want to remind someone of their mistakes the second time. Okay, itong mga niresearch ko ng team ko Okay, when you want to remind someone of their mistakes the second time. Okay, sino dito? Ay, hindi. Feeling ko common to sa mga babae. Okay, I'm not saying this to put my tribe down, but for women, this is very common. Very, very common to na naaalala yung mga nangyari nung 1970s, 1980s. Alam niyo yun, kahit 20 years ago na yung nakalipas, 20 years na yung nakalipas, or 20 years ago na siya nangyari, naaalala pa rin. Okay, common yan sa mga babae kasi ang brain kasi ng mga babae, iba sa brain ng lalaki. Ang brain ng babae, ang wiring niya, naaalala niya yung mga tiny details and especially the emotional ones. Okay? So, naalala yan ng mga babae. Yung mga lalaki kasi, hindi ganun yung programming ng brain nila. And you can read more about this because there are so many books which discuss the male and the female minds or the male and the female brains. Magkaiba talaga yung wiring ng babaeng brain at saka ng lalaking brain. So, kapag ang babae, may naalala sila na nag-trigger sa kanila, wala silang choice kundi sabihin nila yung naalala nila. Ako kasi, to be quite honest about it, I don't really dwell too much on the past. Hindi ako ganong tao. Like, siguro because I wanna be healthier. I wanna be mentally healthier. So it's my choice not to remember or not to dwell too much on my past or not to remember those which have hurt me. So, as much as possible, either kinakalimutan ko sila or hindi ko na talaga, pagka naalala ko, hindi ko na sila para isipin ng feel ko, yung ganon. So, but it's very common for women to experience that. And so, if you are a woman, if you're a lady watching this right now, and you want to remind your boyfriend or your significant other or your partner na nung kung ano man yung nangyari in the past, well, control your tongue until such time na medyo kalma ka na. Kasi minsan, may mga naaalala tayong bagay na talagang sobrang nagtitrigger sa atin. So if that happens, control your tongue because the other person, okay, remind ko lang to the other person does not know that you are remembering that at this very moment. For example, naalala ko, ito yun, for example lang to hindi to totoong nangyari. For example, diba ako, may boyfriend ako, tapos yung boyfriend ko, bigla kong naalala na, nakipag-hug ka sa isang babaeng katrabaho mo, ganyan, and na-offend ako. So, bigla kong naalala yon. So, for example, it's 8:48 p.m. ng Monday night, bigla ko yung naalala. Tapos, bigla kong awayin yung boyfriend ko, like, wala siyang kamalay-malay. Parang wala siyang sense, di ba? Wala siyang sense. Pinagsilosan ko siya at a given time or whatever. Hindi siya fair para dun sa isang tao na awayin mo yung tao dahil lang may naalala ka. Okay? Kasi, if you put yourself in the same position, may naalala yung boyfriend mo tungkol sa'yo, tapos awayin ka din niya, tapos ikaw nananahimik yung buhay mo, nanonood ka ng podcast ko, tapos biglang may mga away sa'yo, aawayin ka ng boyfriend mo or ng significant other mo kasi may naalala siya. It's also not fair, right? So if you don't want to be in that position, the other person doesn't want to be in that position too. We have to put ourselves in the shoes of other people. Okay? Kasi maraming ganun eh. When I was younger, siguro may mga ganun akong moments. Pero diba, when you're already getting older, you realize that you pay little attention to things that will create more conflict instead of making the relationship stronger. Okay, next is, eto pa, when you feel the urge to gossip. And Filipinos are, Filipinos, by culture na, ang mga Pinoy, mahilig diba? Mahilig tayo chika. And I'm not sure with other cultures, siguro dahil napanood ko yung Gossip Girls, ganyan, uso din naman yung rumors or gossiping sa ibang bansa. Pero sa Pilipinas particularly, uso sa atin talaga yun eh. Mahilig talaga tayong makinig sa mga ganon. Kasi naiintriga tayo. It's something spicy. And it's very, ano ba tawag dun sa term na yun? Very tempting. Yan, very tempting makinig sa mga chismis. Totoo naman, di ba? Kahit na hindi mo kilalang mga celebrity, di ba? Pagka may nakita ka, gusto mo naman talagang makiosyoso. That's by nature. By culture, ganun tayo. Pero, by nature, ganun talaga tayo. As humans, we are always curious. Curious tayo. Kasi may mga utak tayo eh, di ba? Pusa nga, hindi naman sila kasing talino ng tao. Wala silang mental capability na kagaya ng tao. Pero di ba sabi, curiosity killed the cat. And curiosity is also the flame that burns every time makakarinig tayo ng chismis. Pero, sasabihin ko, I'm not saying na okay makinig sa chismis, pero kung ikaw ang nakarinig ng chismis, tapos nagdagdag ka doon sa chismis na yon, sinabi mo na, alam mo ba si Iverine, every 8 p.m. Sana ganun yung chismis, di ba? Every 8 p.m. may podcast siya, maganda yon, di ba? Pero hindi chismis yun eh. Kasi pag sinabi mong chismis, hindi totoo, di ba? So siguro, kung ganun yung situation, may sinabi ka, tapos nadagdagan pa, kasi syempre, you're already second-hand information, let's control our tongue. Okay lang na marinig mo kasi minsan may time na hindi mo naman mapigilan. Yun ang pinag-uusapan sa office, for example. May narinig ka. Pero, kung ikaw yung nakarinig, tama na wag mo nang i-broadcast sa ibang tao. Okay? Because you don't want to be the subject of a rumor, right? So, wag din natin gagawin sa ibang tao. Next is disclosing information when it's not yours to disclose. Hello, Mark! Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay. So, when you're disclosing information that you're not supposed to disclose. Okay. Kung manonood kayo ng mga palabas na Western, for example, yung health, nanonood kasi ako ng The Good Doctor, okay, sa Netflix. Pagka gusto ko ma-relax yung utak ko, I wanna take a break from work because we're working from home, you know. Nanonood ako ng The Good Doctor. Okay, gusto ko ng mga medical related ng mga TV series. Tapos ang nandoon, napansin ko na kahit na husband mo yung kasama mo sa hospital, ang information ay dinidisclose lang talaga doon kay patient. 'Di ba? Pero dito sa Pilipinas, yun lang napapansin ko, no? Tayo pinopost pa natin yung health situations natin sa internet. Medyo dapat wag na natin gagawin yun, yung mga health conditions natin, ganyan. Kasi that's your personal information. We don't want that na maraming nakakalam ng mga personal information about you. I mean, if you're comfortable with it, why not? But as much as possible, wag nating gagawin yun kasi it's our personal information, right? So anyway, going back, so you have to control your tongue when you have information that is not yours to begin with. Example, okay, I belong to several groups of friends, like you all do, like we all do. We have several groups of friends. Pero may mga friends ako na, for example, sa akin lang nagkwento, hindi niya kinuwento sa buong circle of friends namin. So, what am I supposed to do with that information? I just keep it. Tapos sasabihin, saan nangyari kay ganito, ganyan, ano nangyari sa kanya? So, ang lagi kong sinasabi, that is not my story to tell. Always. Kapag hindi ko kwento, hindi ko siya dapat ikwento. If it's not your story to tell, don't tell it. Don't tell anyone about it. Especially if it's rather personal. Okay? So, yun. You have to control your tongue when you're disclosing information when it's not yours to disclose. Also, ito sa mga nasa sales dyan, siguro, parang may nakita ko kanina yung mga co-brokers ko nanonood. Hello, good evening po. Ayan. When you are negotiating, you have to control your tongue. Because this is also a pitfall for people in sales. Madalas, kahit mga non-sales, ito kasi yung perspective ng mga tao. Akala ng mga tao, kapag ka nasa sales ka, dapat daldal ka ng daldal. Well, let me tell you this. I have been a sales trainer for more than 10 years now. But let me debunk what most people know. Sales is not about talking. Sales is about listening. And when you are negotiating, you have to control your tongue. Kasi, negotiating yan eh. Dapat hindi mo ipapakita lahat ng bara mo kapag nagne-negotiate ka. Okay? You never show all your cards when you are negotiating. So, you have to control your tongue. Next is, you also have to control your tongue when you are sharing information about your personal relationships. Okay? Siguro, alam na rin to ng mga Facebook friends ko sa personal account ko. You will rarely see me posting about my personal relationships. Kasi I believe that if, I will even ask people if they're okay with posting a picture, ganyan. Kaya bihirang-bihira ako mag-post ng pictures. Kasi hindi lang naman privacy ko yung dinidisclose ko kapag ka nagpo-post ako ng anything. Dinidisclose ko din yung privacy ng ibang tao. So, I'm very particular about that because I don't want anyone then to be posting my picture without my permission, right? Okay lang din naman kung maganda yung picture ko. Kung sinasabihan ko nga yung mga estudyante ko pag nag-take ng picture sa class, sabi ko, wag niyo akong itatag kapag hindi ako maganda dyan sa picture, unfriend ko kayo. Of course, that was meant to be a joke. But also, I also want people to remember that, it's not okay to be posting anybody's picture, especially without their permission. So, you just let them know, di ba? Okay. So, kaya kung mapapansin nyo, kahit sobrang public yung account ko, very rare na makikita nyo nagpo-post ako ng information about my personal relationships. Very, very rare. Unless I'm asking for prayers, or maybe they're okay with it, or if it's their birthday, pero very, very rare. Okay. Ang daming nagko-comment. Sorry, hindi ko agad-agad nga nababasa. Strike 1, 3 points. Strike 1, 3 points. Hello, Sir Noel. Ang dami mo sinasabi pala. Sorry, hindi ko agad nabasa. Yung iba kasi pabida, ayaw pakabog, char. Hello, Sir Joseph. Funny that one. Everybody can control our tongue, but depende if yung karap mo naman technical at nakakapanting ng tenga. Yeah, I agree. Okay, wait lang. Naghang na naman yung natin. Connection. She never posts accomplishment. Very low profile si Irene. Nagpo-post ako ng accomplishments. Paminsan-minsan, nagpo-post ako ng accomplishments. Okay. Learn when to stop. That's true. But ang galing mo, Miss Ice. Ay, grabe. Ayoko basahin yan. Pero thank you. Hindi ko na lang binasa online. Pero thank you. Hala, yung mga screenshots, sorry naman. No, that's okay. I think good screenshots at least are okay. Mamaya post ko picture nyo sa dating office na, oh my God, you still have them? Thank you, Sir Noel, for keeping them. Okay. So, by the way, Sir Noel, meron ka ng top fan badge. Thank you for that. Ibig sabihin, lagi kang nanonood. Ayun. I think, di ba ganun yun? Kapag lagi kang nanonood, lagi kang nagko-comment. Yan. Thank you for supporting my page. Okay. How do we control our tongue? How do we tame our tongue? Ano ba to? Okay. Una, matagal ko nang sinasabi to paulit-ulit in previous podcast episodes. I always say this, but I will say this again for the benefit of those who haven't watched any of my previous episodes. By the way, if you haven't watched any of my previous episodes yet, please feel free to browse on the channel. Kasi makikita ninyo yung mga previous podcast episodes, baka merong mga podcast episodes na nakaka-relate kayo, ganyan, or you wanna share, pwede kayong manood. Hindi ko po tinatanggal yung, tawag nito, hindi ko po tinatanggal yung, yung previous podcast episodes. And also, I'm also inviting you to download nga pala yung Real Estate News Philippines or Real Estate News PH na app or REN PH na sa Android. Pwede po kayong mag-download noon para you're updated with the news. Mga good news naman kasi puro negative yung napapanood natin these days. Okay, so ways to tame our tongue. Number 1 is think before you speak. Okay, matagal na natin to paulit-ulit sinasabi. Pag-isipan bago magsalita. Mag-isip muna bago magsalita. Always think 100 times before you say something, especially if the words that you're about to say will probably hurt the other person. Okay. While it's true that we will not be able to control other people's feelings towards us, hindi naman natin makokontrol kung ma-offend sila, masaktan sila, or whatever, pero we should know when do we speak and what words do we use. And I always say this as a communication major. I don't really care what language you use for as long as you use them well. Wala namang problema kung Englishin mo, Tagalogin mo, Bisayain mo. Doesn't matter. For as long as you use your words properly and in a way na makakatulong sa relationship mo instead sa makasira. Next is always consider the consequences of your words because if actions have consequences, so do words. Words always have consequences. Kahit na, di ba nga mas masakit nga pag naalala natin yung words? Kasi yung sakit ng katawan, mabilis lang siyang mawala eh. I mean, not all the time, pero mabilis siyang mawala. Minsan nga nakakalimutan na natin. Pero yung words na sinabi natin, yung mga hurtful words na narinig ko when I was in high school, when I was in grade school, I still remember them. Although they don't hurt anymore, pero I still remember them. So words are really powerful. You can remember them. You can still get hurt just by merely remembering them. So always consider the consequences of the words that you're about to say. Next is you also listen. And listening, just like any other communication skill, is a skill. Skill siya, di ba? Meron tayong 4 na communication skills. We have reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Yung listening actually, kaya siya mahirap gawin yung pag-listen kasi wala naman talagang course or walang subject when we were still in school which taught us how to listen. Although sabi nga ni Cat Stevens, it's not time to make a change, just relax, take it easy. You're still young, that's your fault, there's so much you have to know. Wait lang, from the moment we could talk, we were ordered to listen. Di ba nasa song ni Cat Stevens, yung Father and Son, yan. One of my most favorite songs of all time. Sabi doon, we were ordered to listen before we could talk. So, ibig sabihin, inuutusan tayo or ina-expect tayong makinig. Pero sa totoo lang, wala naman talagang lectures on listening. Merong public speaking, merong writing. Yung reading, tinuturo din, di ba? From grade school. Pero, may exam sa listening, that's true. Pero, hindi naman talaga tinuro kung paano makinig, di ba? Kaya tayo, karamihan ng mga tao, lalong-lalo na ako. Hirap talaga ako makinig because I'm a visual learner. Okay? So, mahirap talaga yung mga tao makinig. But you know what? There's power. If there's power in words, if there's power to speaking, there's definitely power in listening. You learn so much by listening. Kagaya ngayon, di ba? Nakikinig kayo. Pero meron din kayo somehow na natututunan. Sabi nga ng mga authors, when you listen, you learn more. Diba? When you listen more, you learn more. Kesa kapag ikaw yung nagsasalita, wala kang masyadong matututunan. Kasi when you are saying something, you're just saying something that you already know. Meanwhile, if you're listening, you're probably listening to something that you've never known before. Diba? Hindi ka naman kasi magsasalita kung hindi mo alam. Diba? Well, unless in some circumstances, we talk without even knowing things. But most of the time, when we are speaking, when we are saying something, it's because we already know what we're talking about. So, listening is a very important skill that we should all learn, and listening is also one way of controlling our tongues. Sabi nga, when you listen more and you talk less, you understand the other person well, or you understand the person a lot better than when you are both speaking. Parehas kayong nagsasalita. Paano na? Paano na, besh? Di ba? Okay. Also, ano to? Sometimes, ito pa, sorry, wala kasi akong salamin kaya nahirapan akong basahin yung yung cheat sheet ko. Yung aking prompter na hawak-hawak ko lang. Alright. Think it, don't say it. So, another way to tame your tongue is isipin mo lang. Minsan, pwede mo namang isipin. Ito, sobrang alam to ng mga friends ko na sa background. Minsan, ang dami kong gustong sabihin, pero hindi ko na lang sinasabi. Sobrang dami. Like, let me tell you this. Diba, sabi sa theories or sabi ng mga experts, we have 60,000 thoughts per day. And kasama dun sa 60,000 thoughts, yung mga words na gusto mong sabihin sa ibang tao. Pero you know what? Sometimes it also pays not to tell them. Kasi minsan dala lang ng galit kaya gusto mo magsalita. Or inis ka lang, or pride mo lang yan. 'Di ba? Minsan pride lang natin, kaya tayo na-offend kasi yung pride natin, yung ego natin, marami yan maraming considerations why we want to speak. But then again, we can also opt not to speak. We can just say, we can just think about it. Like, nung last time dun sa ito, I will tell you this because I was so annoyed. I was so annoyed that I wanna approach the guy in front of me. Kasi yung lalaki sa harap ko, sa queue, okay? Sumingit siya sa pila. And I'm very it's a stickler of mine na kapag may pila, sumunod ka sa pila. Hindi ko kayang tingnan lang nang hindi ako nagsasalita. Pero maiksi lang naman yung pila. Thank God, maiksi lang yung pila. Or else, kung mahaba yun, makakarinig talaga siya sa akin. Anyway, so he was a guy. He cut the line, and he never said anything. He never said any sorry or whatever. Sobrang ang dami ko nang sinabing, sobrang nirehearse ko na kung ano yung sasabihin ko sa kanya. Like, ang dami kong gustong sabihin sa kanya, pero inisip ko, nasa harap ko siya, diba? Parang konting syempre may social distancing, diba? Because I was getting a government document, okay? So, nasa harap ko siya. Gusto ko talaga siyang sabihin na, alam mo, sir, gusto kong sabihin sa kanya lahat ng nirehearse ko sa utak ko. But then again, I stopped, okay? Lahat yon iniisip ko na lang. Hindi ko na sinabi sa kanya. Kasi, isip ko, kung sasabihin ko yun sa kanya, sa tingin ko ba, magbabago yung buhay niya dahil sa sinabi kong yon? Yung sasabihin ko naman, out of frustration and out of being so annoyed with him that because he cut the line. Diba? So, inisip ko na lang, hindi ko na sinabi. So, I think, I don't know. I just want to congratulate myself for holding my tongue during that time. Okay, also, think about your motives. Okay? Bakit ka magsasalita? Ano ba yung motive mo? Minsan kasi nagsasalita tayo out of frustration, out of disappointment, out of a negative perspective. And when we do this, there is no positive outcome from a negative conversation. Okay? Wala kang mapapalang positive outcome sa isang negative intention. Negative nga yung intention, di ba, to begin with. So, think about your motives. Ano ba yung motive mo for speaking? Ano ba yung dahilan ba't ka magsasalita? Will it make you a better person? Will your words make the other person a better person? Or kahit na hindi maging better person, kahit na maging better conversation lang, kapag nagsalita ka ba, magkakaroon ng better conversation that will lead to a better relationship? So if you answered yes to any of those questions, then it's about time to speak up. Okay? So, think about your motives. Bakit ka magsasalita? If you deal with your feelings. Okay, sinabi na natin to, di ba? In a... Wala ako. Okay. Nagloloko yung internet ko. Pasensya na. Okay, you let me know if I'm still there, ha? Paano nga, please? Pa-confirm kung, kung online pa rin ako. Na-disconnect ako. Sorry for that. Okay. So, yeah. Deal with your feelings. In a podcast episode last time, we talked about emotional thinker versus logical thinker. Kung nasagot mo kung alin ka doon, no, it's easier also to assess whether you are dealing with your feelings properly or not. And again, before you say anything, assess yourself. Ito ba, magsasalita ba ako habang galit ako? Magsasalita ba ako habang masaya ako? Okay? You have to have a conversation with yourself first before you have a conversation with another person. Next is to speak at a leisurely pace. Bagalan lang yung pananalita. Ako kasi mabilis talaga ako magsalita eh. Mabilis din ako magbitaw ng salita when I was younger. Pero ngayon, hindi na masyado. Pinag-iisipan ko na talaga. Also, still, nakaka-offend pa rin ako paminsan-minsan. Pero at least, alam kong pinag-isipan ko yung sinasabi ko. I'm not sure if you've heard this from me before, but I always say that I'm only responsible for what I say. Kasi pinag-isipan ko yung sinasabi ko. Ngayon, kung na-offend ka by any chance, you have to let me know. Because I will say sorry to you kung na-offend ka by any means sa sinabi ko. Basta yung sinabi ko lang ha, hindi yung pagkaka-interpret mo. Kasi sometimes, minsan kahit na maganda naman yung intention na nagsasalita, na-offend pa rin tayo. Bakit? Kasi minsan, yung interpretation natin, nag-iiba. Okay? Hindi lahat ng tao pare-pareho ang interpretation sa sinasabi ng ibang tao. Okay, for example, I tell you, maganda ako. Tapos yung iba will agree. Yung iba, feeling niya maganda siya. Ganon, di ba? Hindi lahat ng tao pare-pareho ang magiging reaction or response sa sinasabi mo. So, speak at a leisurely pace. Okay? Always own it. Yung mga sinasabi natin, let's own it. Okay? Wag tayong masyadong, ano ba tawag doon? Wag tayong masyadong maghuhugas kamay. Pag sinabi mo, sinabi mo. Pag hindi mo sinabi, hindi mo sinabi. Okay? Also, think about your choice of words. Yung mga sinasabi mo, please think about it very carefully before you let it go, before you let it out. Ito naman yung measurement ko pagka may gusto kong sabihin. Kung sinabi ko ba to, kung may ibang tao bang nagsabi nito sa akin, masasaktan ako. Pag ang sagot ko ay yes, then dapat baguhin ko yung sasabihin ko. Or hindi ko naman babaguhin, pero aayusin ko yung pagkaka-arrange ng words. There are so many ways to say something. No? To say one sentence, maraming paraan paano mo siya sasabihin. So, always choose the right words. And again, do not speak when your emotions are at a high. Huwag po tayong magsasalita kapag emotional tayo because nothing will ever come out positively out of it. Kasi lalong-lalo na pagka negative emotion, nako, mahirap yan. Okay? So, pacing, don't speak agad-agad, don't speak immediately if you think that your words will not help at this point. Huwag muna tayo magsasalita. Wala namang mawawala sa atin kung mamayang after 10 minutes ka na magsalita. Kung sa tingin mo sobrang nasa peak ka ng emotion mo, di magsalita ka after 10 minutes or kapag ka nakahinga ka na. Okay, sometimes when I'm so annoyed, when I wanna speak my mind, and yet I cannot because I know that my words will not come out right, what I do is I take a breather. So, maglakad-lakad ka muna, tapos saka ka na lang bumalik or saka na lang ako babalik kapag ka okay na ako. Ganun lang. Hinga muna ng malalim. Okay, buntong hininga or hinga ng malalim or whatever you wanna do. Huwag ka muna magsasalita. And then after that, saka ka bumalik sa conversation. Okay? So, that would be all. I hope you were able to get an insight or two from our podcast episode tonight, which is all about controlling your tongue. It's Motivational Monday, and I hope that this also motivated you in one way or another to use your words properly and to use your words at the right time. Using the right words at the right time will definitely make you a better person, and also will make the conversations better, and also will help other people out to make them also feel better. Hindi naman lahat ng oras perfect tayo. There will always come a time when we will be hurting people. Pero yung kung nakasakit tayo ng hindi natin sinasadya, okay, understandable yon. Pero since now that we know better, may natutunan na tayo tonight, sana magamit natin to na next time, we'll do better, right? Sabi nga ni Dr. Maya Angelou, I really love her words when she said this, when you know better, you do better. So upon watching this podcast episode, hopefully this was also able to help you out para next time, we'll do better, di ba? Let's all learn together. It's not the end of the world, okay? Yung mga natututunan natin, pwede pa rin natin siyang i-apply sa buhay natin. Ano to? Lakas ng self-control. Thank you. Thank you, Sir Noel. Thank you, everyone. Okay, again, this is Ivorine, and I hope you were able to learn a thing or two from our podcast episode. And kung nakatulong po sa inyo ang podcast episode na to, please feel free to share the podcast episode. This will always be online. Hindi naman po natin tinatanggal. And also, please support our YouTube channel. Sinasabi ko po lagi na our kasi hindi naman po magiging posible yung podcast episodes without all of you. So, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Thank you for always supporting my channel and for always being there for me. Thank you so much. And if you have any recommended topics, please send me a message. You can post them on this podcast episode. You can also send me a private message. You can also send me a WhatsApp message kasi nandyan naman po sa channel lahat po ng contact information ko. So once again, thank you so much, everyone. I hope you learn how to control your tongue in one way or another. And I'll see you again tomorrow for our Thinking Tuesdays episode. Stay safe, stay healthy, everyone. Get yourselves vaccinated. By the way, get yourselves vaccinated. Kailangan po natin ng herd immunity. Thank you, everyone. God bless you. Bye!